Hey there, ask yourself this. Do you truly have what it takes to manage multi-million-dollar egos, act as a pseudo-psychologist, and interpret complex biometric data all before the very first whistle even blows? In this explainer, we're fundamentally redefining a role you probably thought you already knew, and that's the modern coach. Whether you're an athlete yourself, a hardcore fan, or honestly just someone fascinated by leadership, the reality of coaching today is an absolute masterclass in human performance and psychology.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with more than just drills, dive into mind, body, and ethics, explore coaching across all arenas, and then wrap the whole thing up with the career and compensation.
All right, Section 1, more than just drills, the evolution of coaching.
You know, if you're still picturing a coach as just this whistle-blowing drill sergeant making players run endless laps, it is definitely time to shatter that stereotype. Back in the day, the traditional coach really relied on basic physical drills, some rudimentary game strategies, and honestly, just a whole lot of gut intuition. But today's modern coach, they are a completely different beast. They have to integrate the complex science of kinesiology, deep data analytics, mental health advocacy, and injury prevention. They're mentors, they're advocates who have to seamlessly blend empathy with high-level innovation. It's really no longer just about pushing physical limits, it's about holistically optimizing the entire human machine.
And a massive part of that modern optimization comes down to being completely data-driven. Technological innovations are just completely reshaping how training happens. A prime example from our sources is Catapult Sports. They're a huge leader in performance analytics. Coaches are literally using their wearable technology to meticulously track an athlete's workload. And this isn't just for fun, right? It actually allows coaches to fine-tune training plans and significantly reduce the risk of injuries. It's the literal integration of hard science into on-field strategy, making sure athletes peak at exactly the right moment without breaking down.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mind, Body, and Ethics, the heavy responsibilities.
So peeling back the curtain a bit reveals some incredibly heavy, often hidden responsibilities that coaches shoulder every single day. Right at the core of this is holistic coaching leadership. Look, mental health is no longer some peripheral taboo issue. It's a vital, absolute pillar of athletic performance. Modern coaches are actively partnering with psychologists and counselors because they understand that integrating emotional well-being and stress management into the routine builds profound trust. And get this, when athletes feel genuinely supported emotionally, their actual physical performance on the field goes up. It's a win-win.
To put a face to this, look at Pete Carroll with the Seattle Seahawks. He is a premier example of holistic coaching in action, and he does it at the highest possible stakes. By actually integrating mindfulness practices into a grueling NFL team's training schedule, he fosters a culture where players feel deeply supported. He essentially proves that empathy and mental focus don't make a team soft. They actually contribute to consistent, high-level, championship-caliber performance.
But let's be real, it's not always a perfect balance. And it begs a really crucial question. How do we actually balance the immense pressure to win with safeguarding an athlete's physical and emotional development? Just think about that for a second. This is the exact ethical dilemma, the hot seat, really, that modern coaches find themselves in every single day. The desire to win is absolutely massive, but the responsibility to protect the athlete has to be paramount.
Well, a major part of answering that dilemma is safety advocacy. Because we have so much more awareness now around concussions and long-term impacts like CTE, coaches have been right at the forefront of pushing for safer practices. In fact, a direct response to coaching advocacy for athlete protection includes the NFL's 2023 rule changes regarding helmet-to-helmet contact, alongside a huge push for advancements in modern helmet designs.
And honestly, that ethical burden extends even further. Ensuring absolute safety is totally non-negotiable, especially when you look at high-profile scandals like the abuse revelations within USA Gymnastics. That really underscored a massive demand for ethical oversight and strict accountability across all sports organizations. Furthermore, coaches are tasked with promoting diversity and equity. You see this with initiatives like the NFL's Rooney Rule, which aims to increase diversity in coaching hires, and the Women's Careers in Football Forum. These highlight how coaching decisions and organizational structures have a really broad societal impact. At the end of the day, coaches are fundamentally modeling respect and integrity.
All right, Section 3, Coaching Across All Arenas. From the YMCA to the NBA.
So where do all these coaches actually work? Well, there are vastly different environments where coaches shape lives. The traditional career progression shifts dramatically at every level.
You might start out as a passionate volunteer in the community, move up to a certified teacher coach in a high school, climb to become an institutional collegiate leader, and maybe, finally, an elite professional strategist. Let's break that down. Down at the grassroots level, community coaches are prioritizing participation, self-esteem, and building lifelong fitness habits. A really great example from our sources is the Girls on the Run initiative, which teaches teamwork and confidence through running. Now contrast that with institutional coaches at the collegiate level, who face immense business-like pressure. Take UConn's Gino Auriemma. Coaches at that level act way more like CEOs. They're managing high-stakes recruitment, massive program funding, and intense public relations, all while trying to push their athletes toward professional careers.
And then, when you hit the absolute highest echelons, the roles specialize even further. You've got professional coaches, like the Miami Heat's Eric Spoelstra, dealing with intense daily pressure to maximize performance using analytics to craft championship game plans. Meanwhile, you have sport instructors. Think of Serena Williams' longtime coach Patrick Mouratoglou, who focus incredibly intensely on personalized technique, teaching, and individual skill development, rather than managing a whole team's competitive strategy. Both are completely elite, but their day-to-day focus is incredibly different.
Now, with all these vastly different levels, how do we make sure coaches actually know what they're doing? It's all about bridging the knowledge gap. A lot of youth coaches are super well-meaning parents, but an overemphasis on competition or just a basic lack of biomechanical knowledge can lead to burnout or nasty overuse injuries, like Little League shoulder. To combat this, organizations are providing accessible, evidence-based training. USA Hockey, for instance, requires certifications covering concussion protocols and practice intensity. High schools require first aid and CPR, and the National Federation of State High School Associations actually offers dedicated courses on coaching ethics. Plus, networking at major conventions like the AFCA is absolutely vital for career development and sharing best practices. Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, the career and compensation, making a living as an architect of success.
Let's get down to brass tacks and ground this in practical reality, because the financial contrast in the coaching world is absolutely fascinating. At the grassroots level, you've got the passion-driven volunteer making exactly $0. Moving up, high school and youth coaches might pull in a $2,000 stipend or maybe up to $40,000 for larger programs. Lower collegiate and minor league coaches generally sit in that $25,000 to $80,000 range. But then you hit the elite collegiate and professional tier. Figures like Nick Saban or Bill Belichick command multi-million-dollar salaries, often exceeding $10 million annually, purely because of the massive revenue their programs generate. Oh, and let's not forget private sports coaches, bringing in $50 to $200 an hour for specialized one-on-one training.
And get this, the industry is booming. 12%. That is the projected job growth rate for coaches and scouts from 2022 to 2032, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That figure is significantly higher than the national average for other occupations, and it's really being driven by rising participation in organized sports and just a growing awareness of the benefits of physical activity across all ages.
But let's be real for a second. Despite those massive financial ceilings, let's bring it back to the true reward. Yes, the elite levels offer incredible financial success, but they are incredibly rare and highly competitive. For the vast majority of folks in the profession, especially in youth and high school sports, coaching is about prioritizing passion over profit. The ultimate payoff is the profound reward of holistic athlete development, shaping lives, fostering teamwork, and inspiring the next generation of leaders. So as sports continue to evolve with advanced wearable tech, crazy predictive analytics, and deep psychological integration, what is the coach of the future actually going to look like? Will they be more of a data scientist than a drill instructor, more of a mental health advocate than a pure tactician? The role has transformed so vastly, and the next generation of coaches are going to be true architects of success. I guess the only question left to ask is, could it be you? Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.